Apologize to Jacoby, Donnie. Apologize. You said he was cooked brisket.
Hello, and welcome back to Gridiron. Campbell, the only podcast that puts its money where its mouth is. I'm your host, Rich Ryan, and I'm joined by two members of the collective, Donnie DP Peters and the resident moose himself, Mo Nawara. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Listeners, rate, review it on your podcatcher of choice. 5 stars only, like a man not playing tonight. And one of the reasons why likely Mo and I are on Raiders. Pat Surtain 2, 5 stars AF. Raiders up 7-0 as we record. I parlayed the +9 with the under 42.5 at +250, so we'll be sweating that out through this contest. Brett not with us, being a good son, helping his mother move to her snowbird residence down in Florida. So good on you, Brett. We've got his picks. He said there will be tinkering. However, an annoying, extremely annoying 2-3 for the collective last week. Our first losing week in 6 weeks. Something Brock Bowers. That's what the Jags went into that game thinking. They did not know that one of the greatest tight end talents of all time was playing on the other side of the ball. And in every high leverage spot, Mo, for some reason, that guy was just scampering uncovered in the secondary.
Yeah, that was an infuriating sweat. I mean, I don't know who their advanced scouts are, but maybe they need some new ones. It would have helped if somebody knew that 89 was worth covering on the other team. I think, every dipshit on their couch in America knew that covering Bowers should be the priority, but apparently the Jaguar staff didn't know that, so that was interesting.
As soon as OT starts, Mo nailed it. He said, this is ending 30-29 without a doubt, and alas, it did. Super annoying week for me. I go 4-1 in my top 5, putting my only loser on the card. I knew I should have just went all in on Voodoo. I saw that game coming from a country mile away, and I'm so mad at myself for just not putting the Voodoo on the card. But we turn the page to week number 10, and we've got 2 split games, starting with a banger. Eagles at Packers. These buttons are really going to make me lose my mind one of these days. Come on. Go, Pack, go! The Packers are 2.5-point favorites in the contest, and it's no surprise that the person with the highest opinion is Brett, who's not here. He has his Green Bay Packers in his top 5. But Mo, you will pick up the mantle because you too put an X next to Green Bay, and you've got it in the middle of your selections.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to love the Packers here. Just because I've done the same thing. Every time the Eagles have played a good team, I've taken the other side, and I'm 1-2, I think, even though I think they were outplayed in all 3 games. So I just keep doing that, and I'm doing it again here. But I will say some concerns for me, mainly Tucker Kraft. That guy is a difference maker. So I don't know what sort of effect that's going to have on Green Bay's offense. I'm tempted to buy them here off a game where they move the ball up and down the field like usual. I think the Athletic Football Show put it nicely with this team. They said every time you look up, the Packers are on the opposing 35, but then you get to the end of the game and they don't win convincingly. And that's definitely what's going on. So you have 2 very good teams, but one of them I think is likely overvalued. One of them is likely undervalued. So I'm suspecting the Packers are the side, but I am worried about Tucker Kraft because he was such a difference maker on a team that doesn't have that many difference makers. I mean, the Packers have a lot of good players. I don't know how many great players they have. I think Tucker Kraft might be a great player.
There's a reason they made him a captain. There's a reason they went into the draft and identified somebody like Matthew Golden and said, we have a lot of good pass catchers, but we need a guy that on third and gotta have it. We have somebody who can go out there and make a play. And to date, that's been Tucker Kraft. And now he's out for the season with that ACL injury. Matthew Golden, the guy that they tried to get, hasn't been him. And now he's injured as well with a shoulder. So I think this line is fair. Ultimately, and because of the ambiguity post Tucker Kraft, I put an X next to the Eagles. Donnie, you're in the same boat as me. You have Philadelphia, but you don't have them high. But you've been pretty generally the highest on Philadelphia amongst the collective.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every single week I've been pretty high on the Eagles, like you said. I mean, I just think they're very, very, very solid all around. I'm not going to say they're the best team in the league. I don't believe that, but I just think that every single week they are for sure top 5, and they're just always top 5. That consistency there where I rank them is just always there. I wouldn't mind avoiding this game altogether just because I feel like it's one of those games, Monday night, everyone's going to want to have an opinion on, that sort of thing. Now, that said, I think the Tucker Kraft thing is really freaking big. Couple that with the fact that every time I watch the Packers, I don't know, I feel like they don't show up or don't know what they're doing for like 1 to 2 quarters. They just like mess around too much. Can you guys, like we all think you're good, and I think we know that you're good as well. But the fact that you just constantly mess around, and maybe you can get by with some of that against some worse teams, yes. But like a team like the Eagles, like I don't know. I just feel like that can come home to bite you. So that's where I'm at with this one. If I have to pick a side, and like you guys were pointing out, I mean, I think the Tucker Kraft thing, he's the guy for them. When you need to have it, they're going to go to Tucker Kraft, and he's going to do his thing. And without him, until they can show me what it's going to be like without him, I have to just take the other side here.
This is a Monday night game, so we only have 1 day's injury report, but as good as possible for Philadelphia, as both A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley were full participants, as was Nolan Smith, who is coming off of IR with that triceps injury. We move to the midway, where the Bears are 4.5-point favorites against the Giants. And I've got the highest opinion on this game. I went into this exercise thinking that it would be challenging to lay this number with a Chicago team that has been generally uninspiring. But then I just looked at this matchup of how poor the Giants have been defending the run, which makes sense. They have very good pass rushers, but their linebacker core leaves a lot to be desired. And one way that you can neutralize this pass rush is by running at them. Dexter Lawrence looks like a guy who's just absolutely capital Q word quitting out there. And now you've got Ben Johnson coming in, who with a healthy DeAndre Swift will have multiple backs to deploy if something Kyle Monangai fighting Scarlet Knights is doing what he did last week against Cincinnati. And I think this is rule of Wisconsin, Mo. I think this is rule of you can run up the score by halfback diving against this Giants team. So I understand that Jackson Dart might be a backdoor king. He's been making great plays scrambling on the ground. I think the Giants are a very high variance team, so I don't have a massive opinion on this game. I think the range of outcomes is pretty wide. But if you're going to force me to make a selection in this game, I am fairly comfortable laying it with Chicago because I just think that they can dominate offensively, especially on the ground. DP, you've got them very low, but you have the highest opinion on Big Blue.
This feels like a spot. I mean, the Bears played the Bengals last week, who have the worst defense in the league by 1,000,000 miles. So, like, I feel like part of what I'm doing here is, like, I just got to sell that offensive performance here because, again, it was against Cincinnati. It was so bad. It was unbelievable. Now, as you pointed out, Rich, I do worry about this Giants rush defense. And the Bears, if they just want to literally just pound the rock all day, can probably get after it. Now, whoever this guy Flott is for the Giants has been locking people down pretty nicely. So if he's able to lock down Rome Odunze, take away that passing option, which is the best passing option for the Bears, then in my mind, they should be able to dedicate more resources towards stopping the run. Now, does that help them? I mean, hopefully, because I'm picking them. But like, so that's how it's playing out in my mind. Will it work out that way? Who the heck knows? That's why I'm keeping it low. This is, like you said, Rich, very high variance here. It can really go either way. Like, I wouldn't call it crazy if the Giants win. I wouldn't call it crazy if the Bears blow them out by 20. I can kind of see just anything happening here. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
The Bears could also be benefiting from rule of injury with Cole Kmet going down and them forced to get more looks to Colston Loveland because Loveland just stepped up last week and looked like the guy, especially on that game-winning touchdown. All right, that's the split game segment. Let's get to some lone wolves. Donnie has a trio of lone wolves, and perhaps the spiciest game on the slate for the collective is going to be this one.
The Bills make me wanna shout.
The Bills travel, look at Mo's face. The Bills travel to Miami to take on the greatest football team.
Miami and the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
And the Bills are 9.5-point favorites coming off of a victory in the 425 window, whole world watching them beat the Chefs, and now they are massive favorites against their division foes. And DP loves, wink, 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 the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I mean, I knew you guys would be on the other side here. I mean, come on, this is par for the course. I'm the idiot on this side, and you guys are all on the other side. I mean, just chalk it up. This was gridiron gamble to the freaking T. That's just how it is. Bills coming off back-to-back losses before they went into that Week 7 bye. I feel like they had a bit of a come-to-Jesus moment during that Week 7 bye. I don't know. Something happened. They brought in the shaman, the hypnotist. I don't know. But they are now a team on a mission. They can't slow down. No way, because of what's happening in the AFC, what's happening in the division more so. Now they got to go up against a divisional opponent in Miami who, listen, I know they won that game a couple weeks ago, but I think Miami was a little bit frisky that Buffalo is going to be like, listen, we gotta make a statement here. Like, this is like, let's go. All right. The Dolphins do not have a good pass rush. I cannot imagine that's going to be any way, shape, or form good against somebody like Josh Allen. And even when you do have a pass rush, he's so good with his legs, he can just get out of it all the time. They trade Jalen Phillips, which, I mean, yeah, who hasn't been performing that well, but like, I mean, are they going to be any better without him? I don't see so. The offensive line for Buffalo has been very good. They can just run the ball with James Cook here, can they not? I mean, why can't they just run nonstop against this horrible Miami run defense? I mean, I like the only thing I can think of that you can kind of come at me here is like, this is just a spot. The Bills off this win last week. They've been flying high. And then the fact that you want to argue, okay, maybe it's a little bit of a look ahead too, because they got Tampa next week. They're one of the best teams in the league, right? Maybe they're looking ahead there. Again, I can't get past the fact that they came out of that bye week. They look like they are a team on a mission, and they have to stay pace with all these other teams. I feel like they're just going to put their foot down, pedal to the freaking floor, and do the damn thing every single week. And Miami sucks.
Well, not only do Mo and I have the Dolphins, in our top 5, Mo and I both put the Dolphins at the very tip top of our cards because, as you said about the New York Football Giants, this is just the spot, my guy. This is the Dolphins with extra rest playing a division opponent that they have a strong understanding of. You've got some rule of not NBA injury, but NBA departure with Jalen Phillips today beaking about getting traded from the Dolphins as the greatest day of his life. Get out of here, my guy. And you've got a Bills team coming off of the biggest win they can have all season. DVOA has them as have playing the second easiest schedule in football so far. The middle of their defense is an absolute sieve. And the one thing, just like Ben Johnson, we know Mike McDaniel can do is scheme up the run game, and Devon Achane is that guy. And you're talking about James Cook. James Cook out there on a bum ankle. Didn't practice on a Wednesday, did return in a limited fashion here on Thursday. But I just don't think this is a game that the Bills will feel like they need to win by margin. Like you said, they got the Bucs next week coming off of that Chiefs game. This just feels like the spot where Miami has a backdoor opportunity and just keeps this close, and the Bills just escape sunny Florida with a dub and not a massive victory. Mo, pile on.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a spot, too, coming off a game where the Dolphins got fake blown out by the Ravens. I mean, that game was like actually close on the field, but a bunch of stupid shit happened to the Dolphins. Not all of it predictive. I mean, like we know Tua throwing picks is predictive, but he only threw one, and they turned it over twice on fumbles by pass catchers. I mean, this is just like the most random thing possible. Down to down, that was a close game. But you look at the scoreboard and they lost by 22, and that was not how that played out. Like this Dolphins team can move the ball. They can pound the rock against the Bills here. I think both teams, are going to be looking to run the ball, kind of similar to how I saw that Carolina versus Green Bay game playing out. I think both teams are going to run the ball here again and shorten this game. And Donnie is right about some things, but some of the things are just like, yeah, James Cook, that's not the way you cover 9 points most of the time, though. And then, yes, the Bills do need to win. That is for sure, if they want to be keeping up in the divisional race. But still, they're coming off a massive win, probably feeling themselves here. They played their best game of the season. It's a perfect time to sell when they won't play better than that the rest of the season. So it's just a great spot to take. I cannot believe Miami is 9.5 dogs here. This is a crazy number to me.
We'll keep it in the AFC East for the home team as my fightin' are 2.5 point home dogs hosting the dog pound, the Cleveland Browns. DP is laying the points with the Browns with the departures of Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams for gangrene.
I mean, the Jets are a freaking disaster. What? I mean, come on. I mean, we're not really picking them here. I mean, let's get serious. And now they don't have Gardner and Williams. I mean, get out of here. Justin Fields under pressure against this defense. I mean, seriously. And like I saw something today, was like, oh, well, Garrett Wilson's back. Yeah, well, how's Justin Fields going to get him the ball when, one, he's a disaster, two, he now has to run from Myles Garrett and this defensive line? Good luck with all of this, okay? So, you know what? I feel like this is an easy one for, as Rich, you always say, the fake sharps just say like, no, this is the perfect spot. The Browns suck. The Jets just traded everyone. They're clearly tanking. No, this is the side we're going to be on. But I'm not falling for that.
Not capping for Adonai Mitchell, eh? Not capping.
Oh yeah, that guy. Maybe he'll drop the ball again, running into the end zone.
Not capping for John Mechie III. The cavalry is coming on offense, baby. So I crashed out when these trades happened in the group chat. Mo is 100% right. I knew it was the right thing. I mean, these trades are outlandish. I think the Sauce trade is closer to fair, because I truly think Sauce is an incredibly elite player, and he's on a great contract. Like, his extension doesn't kick in for another 2 years, and by then, like, once other corners start getting paid, like, that contract is just going to become value. So I think Sauce is a great player, wishing him the best. The Quinnen deal is insane. I don't understand what Jerry Jones and the Cowboys are doing, especially, like, not only did they give us their 2027 first, but it's the better of their and the Packers first, which, whatever, it might be like a small percentage increase there, but it's worthwhile. And by doing that, unlike the NBA, like the NBA has all these, like, you can trade picks even though they have contingencies on them. In the NFL, those picks are now frozen. Like, they cannot even do anything with the other first round pick. So they're just at the mercy of waiting until that draft order is solidified for them to do anything. It's just an insane trade for a player who is 28 going on 29 at a position of not the most value, whose pass rush skills have kind of diminished a little bit, and just a no-brainer for the Jets to execute. And while you're right, we're losing two very good players, we've been 1-7 with them. We're 27th and past the EPA with them. So how much worse can it really get? And now you've got Dylan Gabriel on the road, rule of NBA injury trade. All these guys are going to think that they have to step up and play into their roles. Total of 38, which I think is actually kind of insanely high? Like, why isn't this 35? I was always going to love the dog in the spot. It just so happens that the dog is now the Jets. It used to be the Browns. And then people overreacted to 2 trades of 2 positions that just can't amount to this type of value. So, yes, I have the Jets. Yes, I have them in my top 5. Mo, anything to add?
I couldn't muster 1 ounce of confidence in either one of these teams in this spot, so I wish you the best if you wager on the Jets.
In real life, I tease them with the under. That's just the play for me. Jets up to 8.5, under 43.5. Only minus 115 too, because one of the sides was juiced on the teaser, so didn't have to pay the full 120 to get that down. Ravens at Vikings. The Ravens are road favorites in this spot. DP, you've got this low, but be wary because Mo has the Vikings in his top 5.
I mean, it sounds like the trend. All my lone wolves are just in your guys' top 5 all week. I mean, whatever. Let's go. I mean, this is just, I think, the first time this whole season, clean injury report for the Ravens, and then sell the Vikings off last week. I mean, that's just it. And I kept it low, and, let's move on.
Go ahead, Mo. Pick up the shield for Minnesota.
There was people on ostensibly sharp podcasts who actually spoke the English words, "I hope Carson Wentz is in so I can bet the Vikings." People were saying that before J.J. McCarthy returned from injury. I mean, you can't be worse than Carson Wentz. I mean, I understand that J.J. McCarthy has not done much, but he can at least scramble for some first downs and, has a live arm. I mean, Carson Wentz is cooked. He is a sack magnet and a mistake magnet. His career has been over for years. Like, how could anyone say that after they watched Carson Wentz play for half of a season? I don't understand it. J.J. McCarthy came back and the Vikings looked competent, and I think that this Ravens team, everyone's buying back in. I don't know if I'm ready to buy back in yet. They struggled with Miami, like I said. So what if Lamar's not healthy too? I'm concerned about that against this Vikings pass rush that has a lot of exotic looks, will bring some pressure, will challenge your playmakers to win. I don't know if I have much confidence in this Ravens group to do that. So yeah, I don't think this line should be as high as it is. Now maybe Lamar comes out and looks great and this is the old Ravens. I don't know. It could happen. That's why, even though I was tempted to put this as my top play, I did move it down a bit. There's a lot of outcomes here that would not surprise me. Like, if the Vikings just came out and won the game, I would not be the least bit surprised. But if the Ravens look great, yeah, they could roll here. But as a default, I'm going to think that the Vikings at home against a quarterback who might not be 100% is probably the play.
Such a wide range of outcomes, both quarterbacks driving most of that. You look at the box, JJ was pretty ugly last week, but he's got that dog in him, he's out there, he's got the moxie, he's making plays, and if he's any reasonable facsimile of what we saw last week, then I think 3.5, 4 is pretty dumb, and this should be closer to pick, because I'm not ready to buy all the way back in on this Ravens defense just because all the players are back. Like, they were performing at a very low level when they were all healthy. Then they were like at an atrocious level when they all got hurt. So I'm not ready to just upgrade this Ravens defense back to good. And if the Ravens defense isn't good, then laying this number on the road against Brian Flores is going to cook something up against Lamar Jackson. He's been quite good these last couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm very much on the Minnesota side, but there is such a wide range of outcomes. I could not get much confidence on this one. Moving to my sole lone wolf, we go over to Germany. I did not grab the German anthem. I should have grabbed Country Roads. That's what they'll be singing at full throat at some point Sunday morning as we're all drinking our coffee. And I am laying the 6.5, with the Colts against the Falcons. This moved off of the full 7 after last week, and I just think that that's incorrect. I thought both of the outcomes in the Falcons and Colts games were pretty predictive to me. I thought the Falcons were going to play a close one against the Patriots and cover. They did. I thought the Colts were going to go on the road on grass against the Steelers and face some voodoo, and they did. And now the market has reacted in a very important half point coming off of the full touchdown. And going back to the Sauce Gardner thing, I think Sauce fits in immediately with this defense because Lou runs a very zone-heavy scheme. So Sauce, just you go to your side and you just play zone, right? There's not going to be a lot of stuff to learn, right? There might be some handoff stuff, some rules on the defense that he'll have to get up to speed on, but by all accounts, Sauce is a very smart guy, very well studied, very well prepared. So I don't think it'll be a problem whatsoever for him to assimilate into this defense. And I still believe in Shane Steichen. I still believe in this offense. So if I think the market has adjusted too far off of this, then I just naturally have to like the Colts. And the one thing that the Falcons have, their calling card has been running the ball and getting it to Bijan. And the last 2 weeks, they've really struggled to get the running game going. And I think it's really affected their offense as a whole. So give me the Colts, give me the half point of value. DP, you're on the other side with Atlanta in your top 5.
Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe I'm buying into this whole must-win aspect for the Falcons here a little bit too much because, I mean, 3 straight losses here. They're falling really behind, both in the division and in the NFC. I mean, you know, some might say it's just a false hope for them to even recover at all. But if they do, I mean, you would figure that they got to put up some sort of meaningful fight this week. Now, as always, a little bit scared with games overseas, right? I mean, it's just anything can kind of happen, but, you know, that can also be a positive for you where, you know, maybe the Colts don't show up or whatever. I thought the Falcons looked good last week overall, you know? I mean, an extra point and that game's tied going into overtime and you know, whatever. Drake London seems like a freaking problem, you know? I mean, maybe to your point, Rich, they just say, hey, Sauce, cover that guy, please. Just stay with him, you know? But I don't know. I mean, Drake London's playing pretty awesome. I also think that, you know, I think we saw last week that we see what happens when the Colts offensive line can break down and Daniel Jones can be under pressure. And Atlanta's defensive front does rank pretty well in getting pressure, and they also blitz a lot. You know, I think it's like, a top 10 blitz rate in the league. So if they're able to disrupt Daniel Jones, and he doesn't just have clean pockets all day, does that offense start to break down? Does it become an issue? And do we see the Colts, who have been flying high all season, just kind of, you know, come back to earth a little bit? Now, it scares me a little bit betting against the Colts after that performance that they put out there last week because, you know, you should kind of want to buy back in when they play as bad as they did. But I think ultimately this one's on the wrong side of 6, so I'm going to take that with the Falcons here.
My mind, I don't remember specifically if the Jets were playing heavy man at the time, but there was one matchup between the Jets and Falcons with Sauce and Drake London in the game. It was 2023. Drake London, 5 targets, 1 catch, 8 yards. So to your point, if there is a scenario with which they just stick Sauce on Drake London, there is some history of success defending him with Sauce in the secondary. We move to Mo, who is once again not a believer in voodoo and is taking the Chargers minus 2.5, and they bubbled his top 5.
Yeah, why would you be a believer in that kind of fake win? I mean, I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of ridiculous takes about that game. I'm right in the middle of it, I think. So The people who think that just because the Colts outgained the Steelers, that was like the wrong result, are absolutely ridiculous. And the people who think that the Steelers had some like massive coming out party, I think are equally ridiculous. So I think it was just a fluky game. Everything went the Steelers' way. I'm not saying they didn't earn it, but also the Colts turned it over millions of times because they were under pressure and making mistakes. So the Steelers forced those mistakes, but I don't think it's predictive because they haven't been able to do it consistently this year. So this is a way better quarterback here. Sorry to 50-year-old Aaron Rodgers, but miles better quarterback here and just a better team that I think they should be 3-point favorites. But number one, I think a lot of people are going to have the Chargers here. Number two, I think it's hard to believe in. I can't get all the way there with the bodies I'm seeing them rolling out on the offensive line at this point with all of these injuries. Something Bobby Hart? Where did they get that guy from? He's starting, it says. I don't know, man.
Therein lies the issue for the Chargers, who are now down both tackles with Joe Alsh, ending his season with ankle surgery. And quietly, the Pittsburgh Steelers, fully healthy, 13th in adjusted sack rate, 9th in pressure rate, 3rd in pass rush win rates, TJ Watt doing TJ Watt things. This just could be a nightmarish matchup for this Chargers offensive line. And the most important part for when it comes to Circa Sports Million is I'm seeing 3s in real life, and it's 2.5 in the contest. So if that's the case, there is going to be a ton of leverage on a Steelers team that I think generally people are very cool on because they don't believe in the voodoo. They're seeing the same numbers everybody else is. How when they win because of these insane outcomes and random bounces, and none of these models that people are following are ever going to support these things. So yeah, I think the Chargers will be insanely popular. And like you, I'm deathly afraid of what this Chargers offensive line is going to look like against the Steelers pass rush. But respect to your Cap, I don't know how much success the Steelers offense is going to have when the Chargers are doing a very good job of scheming it up on the back end. And the Steelers don't really have very many options on offense other than throw the ball to DK Metcalf and hand the ball to Jaylen Warren. There's just not a lot of easy buttons in this offense. This is the most
unexciting offense in the NFL.
It really is. So it's one of those where it's almost like if everybody approaches the Steelers like a Belichick team, do your job, don't screw up. Like, it's really hard for the Steelers to have offensive success. So mainly a leverage cap for me. Brett has 2 lone wolves, and usually I feel some type of way of representing your guys and your thoughts, but these are the easiest caps for me to emulate for Brett. We start in the Pacific Northwest, where he's got Jacoby Brissett plus 6.5 against the Seattle Seahawks. Something, backup quarterback, something leverage. This is 7 in real life and 6.5 in the contest. That's the cap. That's Brett's cap from top to bottom. I think that's insane.
Does this even count as backup quarterback? Hold on a second.
Right, with Kyler getting...
I don't know about that anymore.
First soft benched, and then it seems like permanently benched with a phantom IR stint with his foot hurts, guys. He can't play football right now.
Yeah, he didn't need to go on the IR last week or the week before, but now he's got to go on the IR.
Yeah. Now that Black Ops 7
really selling it here.
Now that Black Ops 7 is coming out, Kyler needs 4 weeks to grind on his Xbox. Bearing the lead, Mo absolutely loves the Sea Chickens this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think an underrated part of this is just Rashid Shaheed. I don't think people are understanding how good this guy is and what a perfect fit he's going to be with Darnold, who is really doing a great job attacking down the field this year. His deep ball has been insane. And you have one of the best deep runners in the league here. I mean, this looks like a hand in glove fit to me. I think this Seahawks offense could be legitimately scary now. I mean, before they were good, outperforming expectations. Hey, JSN, hats off, but I just don't know how sustainable that was going to be, even though he keeps sustaining it. But at some point, it's like somebody's going to triple team him, right? And just like, but you can't do that anymore, man. I mean, the Rashid Shaheed is that good, and I think this is going to be a real difference maker for this offense. I will say the one thing that scares me in this spot, and I was going to let you guys talk me out of this. If you guys didn't like the Seahawks, then I was going to be like, okay, maybe I'm an idiot and rearrange some of my picks. But I didn't watch more than a few snaps of that game last week because grocery gamble. I decided to do other things with my day. And by the time I was like looking at the game, they were already like down 17. I think I watched the fourth quarter. And then I was just like, okay, it's definitely possible that like the Cardinals defense getting healthier and getting like Walter Nolan back and everything. Maybe this is like the unit we thought we were getting at the start of the season. That's my concern here is that this could actually just be a good defense now. I know they got some corners back as well. So it's possible that I'm just like underestimating this defense. So if you guys came out and told me this was really dumb, I was going to be like, okay, I could understand that. Maybe I didn't watch this Cardinals defense the whole game, so I missed the boat there. But I think the Seahawks are just being consistently undervalued, man. This team is a truck.
The other thing about the Shaheed trade is he was in New Orleans, who was the offensive coordinator last year, Clint Kubiak. Shaheed already knows the terminology, already knows the system, already knows what Clint is going to be looking for when he's calling these plays. So, yeah, hand in glove is the best way to describe this. And Seattle was perhaps being very smart because Torrey Horton is evidently dealing with a groin injury that he was a full participant on Wednesday, but then popped up on Thursday with the DNP. So I don't know if they knew that going into this trade, but Cooper Kupp as well, dealing with the hamstring injury. He actually returned to practice today, albeit in a limited fashion. So they understood that they needed some additional weapons, and man, Shaheed is just the perfect fit for what they want to do. And this is a Cardinals team who they kind of just played their Super Bowl, right? Prime time, Dallas, the big star, win outright. Marvin Harrison Jr. has probably his best game as a pro. Jacoby Brissett is just serving it up. Everything looks fantastic. They survive giving up.
Apologize to Jacoby,
teams.
Donnie. Apologize to you. Said he was cooked brisket.
He is cooked, and he's has not been that great. Come on, I mean, it's been ridiculous. And last week especially, Dallas absolutely sucked on defense. Okay, it was ridiculous.
I'm getting to the point where you guys know me. Everybody, by the way, shout out to Grocery Gamble. What would Ryan Day do on Rutgers? Steima is loving it right now in his off period, watching this on YouTube right now. Get in the Discord, bit.ly/Discord Moose. I'm getting to the point, and y'all know this about me, followers, people who have listened to this for a long time. When it comes to nut cutting time, when it comes to the playoffs, I am going to be very fearful of somebody like Sam Darnold in the big spot, playing quarterback in a high leverage situation. But there's something different about this situation than last year in Minnesota. And I can't quite put my finger on it because in Minnesota, he had great surroundings too, obviously with Jettis and Addison, Aaron Jones, KOC dialing it up. But I don't know. There's just something different about what's going on this year that feels more sustainable. And maybe it's just Darnold doing it two years in a row, essentially, putting more positive game tape out there as opposed to last year being the first time. But I mean, he did crap the bed at the end of last year when it matters. So yeah, I'm kind of all in on the Seahawks team. And this is one of those spots where Brett leverage wants to dump the half point, knows everybody's going to take Seattle, but I think they're going to be taking them with good reason. The other Brett Lone Wolf, again, something, Dan Campbell, something, clicking buttons, something, can't put an X next to Detroit. He's got the Commies plus 7.5. Another backup quarterback, no longer just like Jacoby, probably now the permanent quarterback for the Washington Commanders, as Jaden Daniels injured himself in the dying minutes of that Seahawks game. And DP, you're on the other side. You love your guy, Dan Campbell.
Well, I mean, this is easy. This game has been circled for a year? I mean, he probably circled it like he ruined the paper. He went through to the table. Like, I mean, come on. Everything lines up here. And maybe this is exactly Brett's point. Like, everything lines up that you should take it. Rule of circled. You got a backup quarterback in here who's not that good. You got injuries all over the place for the Commanders. You got the Lions coming off that stupid loss last week. Like, you have it all. Those are all the reasons to take him. So then Brett's just going to be like, no, other side. The Lions are like just the team that, like, when what happens last week, when everything lines up like it does this week, Dan Campbell might just try and hang 60 on this stupid team. Like, because that's who they are. That's what they do. Like, he's not going to, like, get up and be like, okay, like, let's just run the ball out, run the clock out, get out of here with a win. No. Like, he's, like, all about making points, emphasis, all this sort of stuff. So, like, after what his team did and how bad they played last week, he's going to run these guys into the ground and try and put 60 on these people. Like, I don't understand.
Trends, I mean, Lions off a loss. Lions off a loss are like 100-0 against the spread.
How many like hill sprints you think they ran this week in Detroit? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, and this in the facility, they just have that divisional game running on a loop of the Commanders beating them in their spot in the playoffs. This is absolutely the chalk side that I'm absolutely fine with. 89% of the handle is on Detroit. I get it. Like, I get it. This Washington team just saw their leader, the guy who brought them to the NFC Championship game last year, snap his arm in a meaningless game where they were getting destroyed, and now they have to come back and play an extremely physical, extremely motivated football team. This just has the makings of Detroit alts all over it. So, yeah. Oh, is that Troy Franklin? This is one of those where it's going well. And oh no, it's Pat Bryant. Not a fan of that. I got Troy Franklin in guillotine. Yeah, exactly. It's week 10 in guillotine, and Troy Franklin's out there.
He's a player I wouldn't be excited to play in week 2, but I'd feel okay about it.
All right, the Lone Wolves. Brett's got the Commanders and Cardinals. Mo's got the Chargers. I've got the Colts, and Donnie's got the Bills, Browns, and Ravens. Let's make the Week 10 card.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
I've got the first pick, 4-1 last week. Spoiled it already, but I'll play the sounder again just for fun.
Miami and the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
Little Miami flu for the Bills. Kick back on Saturday night. Enjoy the weather. Maybe enjoy a few adult beverages. Maybe something else down in Miami. Give me the Dolphins catching a heap of points. Mo, you are up next. We just discussed this game. Is that Troy Franklin? That is Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin just scored a touchdown.
That's not good for us. You know that, right?
I know, but this game is going to be like 17-13. We're going to be fine.
I've heard that before. Okay, well, I mean, Brett's not going to be happy, but I've got the Seahawks.
I was too busy celebrating that touchdown. Seahawks minus the 6.5 on the card. DP, you are up next, and we'll keep the train rolling of Brett's not going to be happy.
Yeah, Dan Campbell, let's go, baby. We got the Lions.
Just laying 15.5 points with two football teams. It is the year of the favorites. Once again, covering at a 54% clip in the contest. Let's add another favorite because currently, and there will be tinkering, Brett is laying it with...
Go, Pack, go!
the Green Bay Packers. Okay, we've got 4 consensus picks. None of them have been discussed yet, so let's tee off the first one with the collective pick.
The collective chooses the Houston Texans.
Donnie, do you not like that? Are you worried about this?
No. I was looking at my sheet and I was like, well, it could be this game or it could be this game. The Texans are lower on my card, but I was like, you know what? I kind of want to have the Texans here. So I'm really happy that we have the Texans here.
Mo's worried. Quite low for him. No confidence points. Something Davis Mills. Give us your concerns. Wow.
I guess my concerns are, I don't know, what are my concerns here? I thought this was pretty fair, so I don't know that I'm like concerned, but I don't know that I'm excited either. This game is one where I thought that the market would be more excited about the Jags here, I guess, in a spot where, Davis Mills and just a Houston team that nobody's been excited about all year, pretty much. So
I mean, it did move 4 points off. It's look ahead of -3. It moves 4 points off 3 through 0. I mean,
but I think that's about right. Isn't that about right?
I don't know. This Jags team is just a bunch of assholes. And now you've got no BTJ. Like, they can't get it going on offense, man. Like, out of desperation, they traded a bunch of stuff for Jacoby Myers, who, like, isn't a difference maker. I think he's a nice player, but I don't think Jacoby Myers is going to come in and all of a sudden make this offense extremely efficient. And the Texans defense just keeps doing it. So we just need Davis Mills to rub a couple brain cells together and put a few drives together, I think. I mean, total of 37. Like, I get it, though. I was the second lowest on this. No, actually, I was higher than DP. But yeah, I had a very strong top 2 with Dolphins Jets, and then I struggled pretty much vehemently after that. So we can get into consensus picks that did not make the card. Again, so far it is Texans, Dolphins, Seahawks, Lions, Packers. Let's get into, well, I just think this is the stinkiest line of the week. It's Patriots at Bucks. Bucks are -2.5. I don't know a single human being that is not supporting the Bucks this week, and yet there is enough market pressure, I'm assuming, from people with a lot of money who make decisions such that this is not getting to 3. And if it's touched 3 for any millisecond, it's been bet back down to 2.5. I just think the Bucks are the cap to me is simple. I think the Bucks are good. And I think the Patriots are just average. And you've got a Bucs team coming off of extra rest at home. The biggest issue is, this is something our guy Shouts to Steima put in the Discord, is that traditionally Josh McDaniels has kind of cooked against Todd Bowles. And we know once again how good Drake May is against the blitz. So if the Bucs plan is to bring pressure by blitzing as opposed to rushing their front 4, then Drake May can beat that. But I don't know, man. I wanted to love the Bucs, but everybody loves the Bucs, so it just kept tumbling down my card, and I put no confidence on it, Mo.
Yeah, I also wanted to love the Bucs, actually. Part of it is just because of the way the Patriots, they just don't put that much pressure on the quarterback. So if you don't put pressure on Baker Mayfield, that's the rule's been he cooks you. That's the rule all season. If you don't get in Baker Mayfield's face, he cooks you. So I think that they play the right style for the Bucs. And yeah, I think the Bucs are probably a slightly better team, and they're coming off a bye. But it's still hard to be very confident in them, especially with Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving and all these guys still struggling. Doesn't look like they're going to come back. I ultimately landed that I thought this was pretty fair, but I kind of wanted to love the Bucs too.
Donnie, anything on your Patriots, or can we move on?
Yeah, I just want to hate the Patriots. So it's not I want to love the Bucs. I just want to hate the Patriots, but they somehow kind of do it every single week. So I don't know.
I think I blew this next one. Rams at Niners. The Niners are 4.5-point home dogs, and we are all laying it with the Rams, but I'm the only person who has no confidence points on this. DP, you are the highest on this one, so sell me on St. Louis in San Francisco.
I mean, the Rams are better literally everywhere other than
St.
running back.
I said St. Louis.
Whatever, same thing. It's still the Rams. They're better literally everywhere. Everywhere. Other than running back. I mean, I know CMC's like a great running back, but I mean, come on. I think the Rams can win on offense, on defense. They have like top 5 in both in the league. They're just a super well-rounded team. They're well coached. They got a good quarterback. They can win in the trenches. They have a big score to settle after, sorry, Mo, they lost in that Thursday night game. I mean, come on. We just talked about rule of circled with the Lions. This is rule of circled too, against a divisional opponent that you're fighting with here still. Like, you can't give up any ground in this division specifically. So, yeah, let's go. Rams.
Mo, anything to add? Triple circled, quadruple circled.
Yeah, just that at this point, I think it's just comedy what the 49ers are left with on defense. This is the walking wounded. I mean, I don't even know. I think the Rams could win this game by 20, but like, will they? I don't know. But yeah, I think this line is just, ultimately I landed it's like a point too low, but if the Rams came out and won by 20 because the 49ers have nothing left, would that surprise me? Definitely not. Like, this team is held together with, bubble gum and tying popsicle sticks together for splints. You guys remember doing that? Putting that around your finger when you're spraying your finger and you got to use the popsicle stick for the splint. They got nothing left. So I just feel like they're ready to collapse, but they keep coming out and doing it. But, the teams they're playing in some cases are just like, I don't know, the Falcons completely shit the bed, obviously, and then the Giants just are really bad. So probably time for it all to collapse for the Niners, but, I've been kicked in the dick before on this, so.
Yeah, Michael Williams joins the IR brigade, tearing his ACL, and now D. Winters pops up here as a DNP on Thursday with a knee injury. Alfred Collins pops up as a DNP with a hip injury. Hey, yeah. The Niners kind of, to me, signal that they're like soft tanking by making no moves on Tuesday, where there was only one linebacker traded in the entire NFL near the deadline. The Jets were seemingly begging to give away Quincy Williams, who's on a lame duck contract, and I think they would have taken as little as a 5 or 6 for. But Saleh, you would think of all the people in the league, somebody who would stand on a table for Quincy Williams, it was Robert Saleh, and the Niners didn't pull the trigger. So they might just be packing it in here. And yeah, quadruple circled, revenge on that Thursday night game. I can definitely see Rams by margin. And then the last game, I mean, you guys lining up to put Circa millions equity on something Tyler Shock and the New Orleans Saints. Help, Mo, help me.
You just have to fade the Panthers after that fake-ass massive upset and this entire fake-ass season. I mean, this is, you cannot lay points with teams that can't pass the ball. That's what this is. If you cannot pass the ball, you cannot lay points with these teams. And they are laying 5.5, which is wild, okay? I understand that they are better than the Saints, but this is an insane line to me that anybody could just like lay points here. But, we don't even know what the Saints have at quarterback. So I get it from that standpoint. Like, it's hard for me to just like be too confident. But I do think this is like a 1.5 too high, probably. I mean, it just, they're going to come out and run the ball. I mean, Bryce Young had 120 yards passing last week. Like, they can't keep getting away with this AF. Like, they keep doing that, and it's like they're 5-4 or whatever, but this is a mirage. Like, you can't lay points with a team that doesn't complete passes. So, HB diving with Rico Dowdle, yes, I love this for my fantasy teams, and I loved it for 13.5-point dogs or whatever that was last week. But once you have to like cover a number, you need to generate offense. I mean, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You know what's crazy about this is that the preseason look ahead was 4.5. So it's only a point elevated from what the preseason line was. 3.5 was the weekly look ahead, moves 2 points off of the Shuck arrival of, I mean, it's funny. He wasn't awful. If you look at the box, they just like weren't trying. Like, they didn't run anything inspiring. They ran that slow, like 3-yard hitch offense that they were running with Spencer Rattler just to basically limit mistakes. Although I'm seeing his ADOT was 9.5. Like, so I guess they were taking shots down the field. I guess I didn't lay eyes on it, but he was 0.01 EPA per play. Like, he was just your average NFL quarterback. They just were wholly uninspiring on their drives. But yeah, I know every, like, you just can't lay 5.5 points with Bryce Young. That's why I put an X next to New Orleans, but I don't know if I can muster real American dollars on this one. I think 39.5. I think I'm going to, when I hit the stop button, I think I am going to bet the under on that. Like, I know it's low, but like, neither of these teams can throw the football. Neither of these teams want to throw the football. So I think I might take an interest in that. But yeah. All right. There will be tinkering at Gridiron Gamble on Twitter for our final card, especially from Brett, which of course could affect the collective selection. Bo Nix throwing one of the worst arm punts you'll ever see with 30 seconds remaining too. Like it's at altitude. Like, the Raiders can for sure sneak a field goal out of this. Let's go, Vegas. So be sure to check out for the final card as it is right now. Once again, Texans, Dolphins, Seahawks, Lions, Packers, Seahawks, Lions. It is the 2025 collective. We've come around to sampling a bit of chalk on our card. Follow these guys on Twitter at Donnie_Peters and at Mo Nuwara, NUWWARAH. I'm at Rich T. Ryan. Enjoy your betting venture. See you in the Discord. Peace.